Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Well, today is the day I'm going to make some dramatic changes to my FrankenFicus. I've been studying ficus trees, the structure of them. I'll show you some photos of some ficus trees, some mature ficus, and you can see that basic branch structure, how the ficus doesn't really have a single leader going up. They're usually kind of these multi-trunks. The bottom branches are kind of drooping. As you go up the tree, they go more vertical, so sort of like a large broom-style tree. So my FrankenFicus has a tall vertical leader and a crown on top, and today I'm going to reduce it down, getting the height of the tree down to something where it can create that nice umbrella-shaped canopy. It's a cold day out today, only 1 degree above freezing. So I protected my FrankenFicus with a plastic bag for the trip from the plant room out here to the greenhouse. This tree is a medium leaf sized Ficus benjamina. So let's get it out of the bag and begin the work. Here is a look at my ficus, and it's called the FrankenFicus because the top of the tree died during one cold winter. So I placed a cutting off the same tree on top of the tree, draped the roots over the original trunk. So both the original trunk and the cutting are fused together and both are alive. The bottom of the tree didn't die, it's just the whole top of it died off. So that fusion is getting better and better with the years. So today I'm going to reduce the height of it. I envision an umbrella canopy about like that. So quite a dramatic reduction. Whew, I don't know if I'm ready for this, but here we go. I'm going to start the work today with some of the lower branches. I've got new growth on them, so I can reduce them back, picking my better branches and pruning away some of the ones that are going tall and vertical. I'm going to start with this branch here. So it comes out from the base of the tree, and you can see I have a nice kind of cascading branch here. And I like this branch. As I said, I want all my lower branches to be kind of weeping. And as I go up in the tree, they'll get taller and taller and go vertical up the center. So I'm thinking of cutting off the vertical part of this branch and only keeping this cascade part. It's a big step. So that's where I'm going to begin. I've got my ratcheting pruners from Ironwood Tools, the ones Tom sent me. I've sharpened them up so they're good and sharp. I cleaned them with soap and water so they're sterile. So here goes my first big cut. I'm going to remove this upper part here. And I'm going to leave a stub for dieback. So I think somewhere right about here. So here I go. First big cut coming up. Done. My second cut will be removing this upwards growth here. And again, I'll leave a bit of a stub. So here I go. So that branch is now reduced to almost a cascading branch. You can see that the tree was healthy. There's white sap leaking out everywhere. So I'll just spread it across the wound. And this latex sap will seal the cut. I don't need cut paste on it. That has got my right side lower branch pruned up. I'm very happy with it. I think it looks good. Next, I'm going to tackle the left-hand side here. And the left-hand side is quite confusing. There's a lot going on there, and not all of it is good. If we take a look at this left side, I've got this vertical trunk behind here, which I've never liked. I've cut it back many, many times, but it's still very awkward looking. It doesn't really flow with the tree. So I think I have no choice but to remove it. I have a better branch beside it here. So there's 2 branches growing from one spot there. I think I'll keep this one and prune away that vertical one. I'm not sure I'm ready to make this big cut, but I think it has to be done. It's a big, big cut, and it'll make a big difference in the tree, and it may make the tree look very, very sparse, but I think for the long-term goal of this tree, it's going to be a positive step ahead. I just wish I wasn't the one that had to do it, but here I go. So let's turn the tree around. Get a good look at that branch. Here it is here. Right here. This is the one I'm keeping. This is the one I'm pruning away. Oh. I do have a shoot out from here, but it's so vertical, I don't think I can keep it at all. I think it's just got to be totally removed. There is like a collar down here where I'll prune back to. So I'll take that entire trunk line off. Wow, it's a big step. All right, here I go. I've got my ratcheting pruners. I'm ready to make this big cut. So I can come in as close as I can here. Make sure everything's clear and cut away. Here I go. Click, 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 click. It's gone. Oh my goodness, that's a whole tree there. Again, I'll just seal up that cut with using the natural latex that comes out. Like that. Let's see what it looks like from the front now. Here is a look at the tree from the front now. I think that's a big improvement, getting rid of that vertical trunk. There's still a lot of confusion in this area, so that's what I'm going to tackle next, cleaning up that left side of the tree. On this side of the tree, I have the branch I want to keep, and then in front of that I have a branch going vertical here, a horizontal one, and another vertical one coming out front. I don't want opposite branches here, so I think the vertical one will bring my left-hand branch up higher. So I think I've got to remove all this one coming out the front, the cascading one, and this one. Cleaning that area up so you can see the trunk line of this branch. Again, a big cut. So here I go. So I'll start with this vertical one, this little one. Get rid of that. I'll get rid of the one coming out the front here. Like that. And then I better have a look at the tree. I'm trying to decide, do I want to keep this branch? I'll get rid of this double one growing here. So this one, little one, is going to go. Let me have a look at it from the distance. From the distance, it definitely has to go. So I like this trunk line justifies, you can see this kind of thick area of the trunk here, and this trunk line justifies that. It's almost an extension of the trunk line flowing out here. So this one has to come off. So off it goes. Wow, big cuts today. I will have to clean that one up. So I'm going to come in here and just make that cut flush. It'll leave a bit of a scar, but there, that's flush now. I better step back and have another look at the tree. I'm having a look at it from the distance now, so I'm liking what I've done so far today. Now I'm going to clean up this branch on the left here. I'm going to clean that structure up. I'm looking at this branch now, so I could prune it off so it's more horizontal. I could prune it so it's coming back down, or I could keep it growing vertically like this or on the angle. So there's kind of three possibilities with this branch. So as I said, I want my bottom branches kind of drooping as it comes up, more horizontal, and then going more vertical towards the center. So I think this is at a good angle. I do like it. I don't think it would hurt to prune it off to these horizontal branches though. Maybe that would look too horizontal. Tough call. I'm going to start by removing this branch here. It's kind of crossing back in on the design. So that's coming off. And then this one has to come off. I've got new branches. There's 2 new branches growing to this side. There's a couple on the inside. So I can definitely reduce the height a bit to there. I could even come one lower to here, to this branch. There's a vertical shoot coming off here I can take off. This branch here divides from 1 to 3. I think I need to remove one of them, and the one I'll remove is the middle one. So that's coming off. And then I've got this strange looking branch coming off here. It comes up vertically and then kind of goes off. I don't think I need that, so I'm taking that off also. So that's got that branch cleaned up. Now, do I get rid of this cascading one? That's the question. I think I do. I think it looks kind of a bit awkward hanging down like that. I think, you know, once these lower branches back here grow out, I'll need some space to see them. So I'm going to take that one off also. Like that. I'm going to leave this branch as it is now. I think it looks quite nice, and I can always prune it up further in the future, but I think it's got it sorted out for now. I'm looking at the tree now, so the next step, you can see in here I've got a hanging branch that dives down and goes up. I've got a couple of branches in that area there. I've got kind of a thick trunk going vertical towards the back. So that needs sorting out, and I've got to decide what I want to keep and what I want to remove. I've got 3 swooping branches there, and I'm not sure I like any of them because they don't really flow that well. I think I definitely want to take the lower one off. I think that'll be my first step. It looks awkward coming from the junction of that larger trunk line, which I think I want to keep. The other possibility is to take off the swooping part and keep the part of it that's cascading, but I think I better remove it. I think keeping my flowing trunk line is better. That one doesn't flow at all, that branch. It's kind of, to be that high on the tree, I think I need it to begin flowing the trunk lines. So off it comes. All right, here I go. So I think I'll need my ironwood tool here. So I'll come in and prune it right back. Here I go. It's gone. Well, that definitely looks more flowing. I like that better. Here's a look at that section now without that hanging branch. It looks much better. So now I've got to sort out what's going on right here. So here is a look at that area of the tree. So I've got 3 branches growing from one spot on the trunk line. This one is the most radial. It comes off the trunk in a radial pattern. These 2 come off at funny angles. So if I'm going to keep a trunk line, it'll be this middle one, and I'll prune away these outer 2. All right, here I go, pruning those trunk lines away. So I'll start with the one coming out the front here. Didn't go deep enough there. So that is almost gone. There, it's gone. That one's off. And then if I go around to the back here, I need to take this tall vertical one off. So here I go with that. That is gone also. So I'll need to clean those cuts up, make them a little more flush. Here is a look at the tree now from the distance. It's getting there. It's improving. So I'll clean those two cuts up and then we'll come back and look at more pruning of this sort of vertical trunk line. My trunk line comes up here and it goes vertical. I would rather it stay on the angle. And I have a new branch in here that's on a good angle. It would mean a bit of a kink in this area, but I don't think it would be too bad, and I think it would smooth out with age. So I'm going to start by cutting off the tall part of this branch to here. So here I go. That's gone. And then I need to get rid of this vertical part of the trunk line here. So I will come in and I'll cut it on the angle here like this. So here I go. Like that. Big cut. Seal those cuts up with the latex. So that should continue this branch line out, fanning out from the center of the tree, which should look quite good someday. The next part of the tree I'm going to tackle is this branch coming out the back here. So it's coming a nice radial direction. It's a good looking branch. There's a vertical part to it that I can prune off. So this part here, that's gone. I'll get rid of the leaf too. And then I think it needs shortening. So the radial direction is here, so I'll prune to a leaf that's kind of facing the nice radial direction, so I'll prune it back to here. Like that. There's another little branch coming off here, which is fine. I'll just leave that. There's another branch coming out here, which again is nice and radial, but there's a vertical part to it I can prune away, like that. And I can redirect the tip to keep it going in a nice radial direction. So back to here. Beside it is another branch, and both of these branches here are coming from the same spot. So I've got to decide which one I want to keep. And I know it'll be the one out the back, because this one here is growing from the inside of the curve of this trunk. So I'm going to remove this one. Like that. Okay, we better have a look from the front once again. Here is a look at the tree from the front, and boy, is it looking sparse. Oh my goodness. So you can see the top of the tree is very tall. This is going to be the the real scary part, reducing the top back. So here's the top of the tree. I have a little branch coming out the back. I've got one coming out the front here. I've got sort of a cascading one here. And then I go to my upright trunks. So where do I want to reduce it to? My initial thought is back somewhere here. Way back, or maybe a little higher. So I'm stepping back looking at the tree. So I've got good taper up until about this point, and then it's kind of thick from about here up to here. On these ficus, generally, they divide very early on the tree into like multi-branches going up. So I think, you know, this leader here is too, you know, it's too much of a, like a single trunk tree. So I need to cut that off and then start dividing it down lower. So I have that one branch down here, this lower one, and I've got one out the back. So I think if I take it off just above there, I think that's my best cut point. Wow. Big reduction. I don't, like if I cut it off, leaving some of that branch structure up top, I just think it's too tall. It's too tall to begin the division of the canopy. Because I've got to create an umbrella canopy on this someday. Sort of like this shape. It's hard to imagine at the moment, but yeah, that's what my goal is. Okay, here's my decision-making process. I have this trunk line here, which is a good strong trunk that can begin that umbrella canopy. I have a back branch here that I can cut off short, and that can be part of the umbrella canopy. I have this branch here, which is good. And then I think up here is just too high. I think I've got to cut it to at least here. Or I could go down lower and get rid of this branch also. And my hope would be that I'd get new shoots popping out on the trunk, or maybe down lower. Enough new shoots to create that umbrella canopy eventually. So it's either I've got to cut it here and hope something comes out the front here, or go down lower and then hope something comes out the front here. If I cut it here, then all the strength goes into this back branch, which is at the back, which I don't want to develop. I do have this little one at the back here, which is in the same position, which is, it's opposite this one, but it's a tough decision. I've got this one coming out front, which is nice. It could be a leader, but I would need something coming out here. So I've got this branch, or maybe even this one. Where to cut? That is the question. I can't go higher. It's too thick in here. I need subdivision. There's a lot of scar tissue here. I'm not sure branches would pop out in this section. Up here they would. There's already like a swelling there where a branch will come out. There's a swelling here where a branch would come out. So I'm leaning towards cutting it here. I think that's my decision. Big cut. Now do I angle it a bit? Or I think just a straight cut. All right, here I go. This is a big cut. It'll either make or break this tree. Here I go, cutting it off square, and hopefully I'll get all kinds of new branches developing in that area to create my canopy with. All right, here I go. I'm going to cut right here. The tool is just big enough to get in here. Big cut coming up. Click, 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 click. Done. Oh my goodness. I'll just seal that cut up with the latex. It's bleeding quite well, which is a good sign. That shows that top was nice and vigorous. There was lots of sap flow to it. Let's step back and have a look at the tree now. Here is a look at the ficus now. So I'm very happy with that cut. I think that's got the height reduced nicely. I think the basic structure is set now. 2 days work on my ficus was quite a brutal operation, but I think I've kept all the best parts of the tree, and it can only get better, I hope. I will come in with my rubber cement and just seal those cuts up just to make sure they're nice and sealed and it doesn't die back in those areas. We'll put this one up here. At the back of the tree here, I've got a lot of new aerial roots growing because it's in the plant room, which is a good sign that it's nice and humid. It's good for root growth. So I'll have to take really good care of this tree, keep it in good light, warm, watered, and just wait for it to grow. Here is a look at what I took off the tree today. Big cuts today. A major restyling of the tree. If I had room, I would grow these as cuttings, but I just don't have room. I did put the 2 largest cuttings in a bucket of water here. So I will take these to the KW Bonsai Society meeting, and if anyone wants these cuttings, they're welcome to them. If not, they'll go in the compost. Here is a look at the FrankenFicus from a different angle. So you can see, because this was a cutting, you can see where the original bark of the cutting was and then the new roots. And you can see there's a bit of a line. And that's the same with air layers or cuttings, is that sometimes you get that transitional area there. I'm hoping, with time that'll grow out, it'll smooth over so you don't see that. And I'm also hoping you can see part of the original trunk here where the top of the tree died off. So I'm hoping eventually this all kind of fuses in together, creating one tree in the future. I think it will. I think my viewers from Vietnam will say, finally, he made the big cuts on the tree that it needed. It's about time. It's hard to do, but I think it's going to develop into a really nice tree. I'll give you a 360-degree view of the tree. Hopefully this will be a good before, and someday we'll show a nice after when the tree's filled out. So here I go, coming around to the right-hand side. Coming around to the back of the tree. Coming around to the left-hand side. And back to the front. I finished the pruning on my FrankenFicus for today. That's all my poor heart can take. So the next step is just to grow the tree, and I hope it grows in well. I hope I get the tree in the end that I envision, that beautiful umbrella canopy with all these multi-branches growing up. That's my vision for this tree. I think it's got a great looking trunk. It just needs to develop the branches now. So that's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.